introduce themselves. You already have their questions, and advise them that each question may be given to them in all panels, or you may ask specific questions to a specific candidate, but the next candidate may be asked a very similar question, but the format may change a little bit. So, Mr. Sosa, we will start with you on the far end. There's on-off switch on the mics, get them fairly close. My only advice to the candidates, when you ask questions, please be direct and concise. Some candidates have a tendency to over-talk an issue. I would suggest you could under-talk an issue and allow the panel to ask secondary questions rather than over-talk an issue, because time is also working against us on sometimes. Mr. Sosa, please.
Good evening, everyone. As he said, my name is Nathan Sosa. I grew up here in Las Vegas, went all through school here, went to UNLV, and also graduated from the William Boyd School of Law over at UNLV. I'm currently an attorney. I represent a lot of small business owners. I do a lot of blue-collar trades, plumbing, drywall, painting, things of that nature. Lived in District 35 for 6 years. Been a homeowner there for 4. Am heavily involved in the community. I'm the chair of the Neighborhood Advisory Committee for the Mountains Edge community, which is a group of homeowners that get together and discuss issues relating to the community. I come from a military family. My family has served in every branch of the service, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. My grandfather was one of the Frozen Chosen. It's one of the proudest things that he had up till the day he died. He raised me from the time I was little to honor and respect the people who have served our country. Thank you.
Adam, that beep you're hearing is a 50-second mark. It means you give you an additional 10 seconds to start gearing down.
And if I put up my hand, when I put up my hand like this, I'm not trying to ask a question, I'm going to start dropping fingers.
Okay.
My name is Adam Cegavske. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. Went to public high school, went to Bonanza High School, attended University of Nevada, came back, and I'm currently now a school teacher. I teach high school government, and I've been doing that for 3 years. I've lived in the district for over 4 years now, and I am a very proud son of a Coast Guard and a grandson of a Coast Guard member. Very proud to have also every branch of the military in my family. I am currently very actively involved in rescuing dogs. I am very actively involved in coaching. The team I coached last year won state, which we're really excited about, for the Crossing Valley High School. And I've also been very involved in different outreach organizations in trying to help out kids getting into college and also kids entering the workforce.
Oh, sorry, would you check your mic may not be on? Click it up. Okay.
Yeah, hold it closer to your mouth. These only have like an 1.5 inch range.
Okay, no, keep it going. Okay.
Give it 5 seconds.
Just excited, dressed down a little bit because I just got done with walking. I love walking to come here, so thanks for inviting me.
Hi, I'm Tom Blanchard. I want to thank you guys all for offering us this opportunity. And just tell you about myself. I am past Navy corpsman. Served in Camp Lejeune with the Marine Corps. Also a previous LA County paramedic, Las Vegas paramedic here, and currently have my own real estate business, small company. Been rather active in the community and also in DC with the prior President Bush, and currently married, 1 child, 9 years old, and just got done coaching Little League. So thank you guys for offering me the opportunity.
Karen, we'll start at your end of the table.
Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us here today. I'd like each of you to give me a statement on your thoughts on government spending and where we're at with that. Start with Sosa, Mr. Sosa.
And are we talking the state level?
Yes.
Okay. I think that over the last few sessions, of course, we have cut budgets at all levels, state, local, county, city. We've cut them again and again. We've had the public employees take furloughs for the state workers. The county has lost 20% of its workforce. I think at this point, what we need to start doing is actually investing in education. I think that is absolutely crucial. Clark County has seen its budget cut dramatically. The university has seen it, UNLV, my alma mater, has lost $70 million. They've had to lay off 700 faculty and staff. I think we're in a great deal of trouble in terms of investing in education. So for me, I think that's the number one priority that we're going to need to have in terms of government spending, because that is going to be the essence of everything we try to accomplish, from economic diversification to job creation and attracting new businesses. It all comes down to having an educated workforce, and I think that's where our resources need to be focused on.
In relationship to our budget, I think that the governor right now is doing a sunset committee, which I fully support, and trying to find different organizations within the Nevada state government to find out what can be cut, what is not needed, and in essence, trying to say, make sure that we have enough money for health and human services, so education, the Medicaid part that the state puts in, and also making sure that we have roads that we can drive on and other organizations like that. But I think really if we focus on what the governor's going to come out with hopefully in the next 6 months and try and figure out what we're spending too much money on. We have too many staff that we can divert to another organization, or can we have cut that money and just use the money for another organization within the state of Nevada. So I think that would definitely help out and figure out where we can save money.
Thank you.
I have a little different take on our budget process completely. I'm a true believer in not having, if you don't use it, you lose it. If someone's got a $50,000 budget and they only spend $40,000, they shouldn't be spending the last month of their budget period trying to spend that $10,000 because they're afraid they're not going to get it next time around. What they should be doing is incentivizing those people that can save money in their budgets and share with that savings and still get their $50,000 next year, because the budget hasn't changed, it hasn't been cut, so they shouldn't have to lose it. But if they can save it, I think we'll automatically all of a sudden see a lot more revenues available in all of our places of government, whether it is education or whether it is in VA spending or any other kind of government spending at all. We have the wrong way of thinking on how we do our budgets. Thanks.
Thank you.
We have the petition's been signed by you, Mr. Cegavske. Are you going to sign the petition?
Yeah, I haven't read it yet,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
but once I read it,
All right. Thank you. My question is about the Veterans Courts and whether you would support as a legislature expanding their scope, including more use of their of laws. Right now, if you're the only people that have the ability to go before it are veterans who are charged with misdemeanor drug offenses. There's a lot of other issues that obviously arise with PTSD and other brain traumatic injuries and so forth. So would you support the expansion of the Veterans Courts and their applicable laws? Yeah.
Absolutely. My younger brother was also a Marine Corps vet, and he has some issues now to where he's actually been in and out of VA hospitals in California. And we can't be treating our veterans that have served our country and with that caused some kind of potential glitch in the way they think and the way they're looking at things. Having just a taste of it, never been actually in any kind of armed combat, thank goodness. I can only imagine watching the guys in boot camp that couldn't even go through that lost it. And to have them be treated like any other normal citizen is completely archaic to me. And they should have every VA that put in a separate issue completely as far as the courts system and how they're treated.
yes, I would support a veterans court to, I think we need to support our vets. I mean, we have our freedom because of that. So if we're able to provide them a little extra resources, a little extra, maybe one-on-one with the courts to have a better understanding of what they're going through, I would definitely support that. I would definitely support anything that would help out the troops in coming back home and making sure they're rehabilitated if that's what they need. They're coming back here, making sure that they have food on their tables, they have shelter, and making sure that they are not left on the wayside, which all the horror stories you hear all the time. So making sure that they are provided for and making sure that we provide for them since they did sacrifice or are willing to risk their lives for us.
I would agree with what you said. I think that if you have a veteran and he has a particular criminal case that can be somehow related or tied to his service, as you indicated, drugs, perhaps violence, things of that nature, where you can say, okay, this is a repercussion of that service and the damage that was done psychologically. Currently, we have special drug courts. We have special traffic courts. So it is subdivided. We have family courts. So based on even the crime that you're charged with, there are certain courts that you go to, and judges specialize in that. And the judge has seen every kind of drug case you can imagine, and every person who's charged with that will come before that judge, and they have a certain amount of expertise. And the district attorney's office, of course, assigns a special division to that, and they're familiar with that. So yes, I think so. I think that's not uncommon. It's not would not be a precedent-breaking thing. It's already out there, and I think if we expand that for the veterans, certainly, and you give them prosecutors and judges who are more familiar with their particular situations.
Well, first off, I want to thank all three of you for coming in this afternoon, or this evening now. I know this can be a very nerve-wracking experience. This is actually for all three of you, and if you could start from left to right, that would be great. Can all three of you tell me what is the population of veterans in the state of Nevada?
Why don't we just take a number as we go to each of the three? Do any comments you have on it afterwards? So you just answer the number first.
So what I believe the number of veterans living in Nevada right now is?
Correct.
Well, say 300,000.
I'd say 100,000.
Okay. Tom?
My honest answer, I have no clue.
Okay. And I know that for someone who's been a candidate before, I know it's kind of tough when someone asks you a question like that because it comes across kind of as a gotcha question, and I understand that and I respect that. It's roughly right now 339,000. And the reason why I asked that question is because do any three of you know how long it took me to find the answer to that? It took me 2 minutes on Google. So the only thing that I would say is that if you're going to come in front of the Veterans in Politics Board, maybe just Google a few more veterans issues. I do understand you guys got a lot on your plate, but it's roughly 339,000. And Tom, I want to thank you for your service. And that's it.
The Nevada State Constitution provides an actual explicit separation of powers between the executive branch, which is actually almost all state employees, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch. Could each of you please comment on the appropriateness of members of either the judicial or executive branch serving in the state legislature? I would start on the right this time.
The separation is there for a reason, and it should remain that way. I don't think that people that are state employees should be working as legislatures. We muddy up the waters enough as it is these days to not have to have some kind of additional blurriness when it comes to the separation of our different branches of government.
In the state of Nevada, we have a unique situation since we are a citizens legislature that I think we're able to allow other people that are in all aspects of corporation, as long as they're not voting on specific things that may target their ideologies, that we should be able to allow people to be a part of the system, since we are a part-time legislature. If we were a full-time legislature, that'd be drastically different. Within the Attorney General's rulings, and also the Supreme Court has left that in the hands of the state legislature to determine their own rankings and who can and cannot serve in the state legislature. As well as I think there's been 3 Attorney General rulings on the same issue.
I think it goes to, are you getting paid simultaneously? I think that's one of the major concerns, is that the double dipping issue. Is, are you collecting a government salary from one job while simultaneously collecting a second government salary from another position as a legislator? Certainly, I think if you're in government, you're a school teacher, you're a professor, you're in that capacity, and you become a legislator, obviously we're part-time. So take your leave of absence, don't collect that first salary, you get paid as a legislator, and when you're done, you go back to your job. Just like anybody else. And I think a lot of people have raised the issue of, well, there may be conflicts of interest. I think that's true of any profession, because the law that is considered by the legislature, it covers all aspects of, all types of businesses. So I think that as a part-time legislators, you're inherently going to have conflicts of interest because these people are professionals in other fields simultaneously. So.
Good evening.
Remember us?
Welcome. If elected to the Assembly, what do you feel your job and what will you strive to do in order to make Nevada more competitive from a standpoint of attracting businesses and also helping our existing businesses to grow rather than to maybe relocate away from Nevada?
Adam, sure. First one. Sure. Great question. One thing that I think businesses right now that are looking at moving to Nevada are struggling with is we don't know where the taxes are going to be in 2 years from now. We keep, all right, we might have a sunset, we might not have a sunset. So I think if we had a secure tax system that we're like, all right, this is a plan that we're going to have over the next, ideally, forever, and they can base their business decisions on how much taxes they're going to be paying. So I think that's one decision. If we want to raise taxes, then they can set that in their budget. If we want to lower taxes, they can set that in their budget. But I think by encouraging businesses, giving them tax incentives to move from wherever they are into Nevada would be a great asset. And in doing that, I think we need to better prepare our kids when they graduate high school to not only be college ready, but to be ready to enter the workforce, especially in unique industries, maybe manufacturing, and providing them those resources and those trainings to be job ready into a career when they graduate high school at the age of 18.
The number one thing that we have to do as state lawmakers is to prioritize education. That is the crucial element that is needed. Right now, of our working population, 46% only have a high school diploma. Only 46%. Only 20% have a college degree. Now you look at our competitors, Salt Lake City, Denver, Phoenix, their college diploma rates, or college degree rates, are over 40%. How are you going to attract businesses, particularly businesses that pay well, that require skills, that are clean energy, or other sort of cutting edge fields? How are you going to attract them if we do not have the workforce with the educational base necessary to actually perform the work? And I think you also have to invest not only in our universities, but our college, community college system, so that even those workers who don't have those skills can get them. And right now, I think cutting education and scaling it back is the absolute wrong thing if we're going to try to attract businesses.
All right. I think the number one issue on this is uncertainty. Businesses do not perform well when there's uncertain times. They can deal with it being a bad time, they can deal with being a good time, but just cannot deal with uncertainty. And to add to that, the education seems to be a hot topic here. On the basis of college degrees, if 25% of the companies that hire need college degrees, we're going to end up having about 25% college graduates. What we need more is vocational schools, and to teach from high school on up and through more vocational skills so that people can actually start working and not get a degree in beer drinking.
What is this? They eliminated that degree program last year.
Oh, but my PhD is still worth a lot.
Welcome.
Good evening.
The other delegate, you're on.
Good evening, thank you for attending. As a legislature, you will deal with all the issues facing veterans, but as people, we all have our favorite issues that we're passionate about. What is your passion, and how will you use that passion to help veterans? I'd like Mr. Blanchard to answer first.
Unfortunately, you only get about 30 seconds on this one because we're out of time.
Okay, I'll go quick then. Housing, housing, housing. We have a problem with housing right now. We also need to help fix it, is I've been trying to promote a veterans, they have a VA loan. And instead of just having the VA vets be able to buy a pristine house with all the repos on the market and all the great deals, why we don't have a rehabilitation loan that goes along with the VA loan is completely asinine. We should have that ability for all the VAs, or the vets, to go forth and be able to purchase a repo home.
Supporting the veterans when they come back, and also with using the VA bill for school to get them in job-ready programs when they come back. So if they had a lot of training in a specific field in the military, they can be able to come back here and be able to provide those resources for them when they come back at the community college level, the university level, and being able to support them as well, and maybe even going above and beyond the VA bill as well, and just making sure that they have a place to go, to make sure that they can have adequate job training.
I think my most important issue for everybody, including veterans, is job creation. Now, the veteran unemployment rate is actually 3% higher than the general population. That is a disgrace, and that's something that we need to do a great deal about. As I've said, I think that goes toward education. It goes toward ensuring that our education system is fully funded so that they're not turning people away, including veterans, when they want to upgrade their skills and try to transition back into the civilian workforce. And I also think another crucial issue for veterans is mental health. Veterans are 2.5 times more likely to commit suicide than the average citizen. And I think we've cut our mental health budget by 1/3 in the last session. We need to change that.
Any follow-ons? Gentlemen, do you think you've been treated fairly by this group?
Absolutely.
Okay, I really want to thank the three of you to come, because I know you have a lot of things. Adam, I know you've been walking, Glenn, upwind rather than downwind. But again, this group truly appreciates the fact that you're getting out there in front. Thank you very, very much for coming.
Thank you.